And I wish you all the best, and I hope you will achieve your dreams, your individual dreams. My name is James Tengbe, and I serve as the Assistant Commissioner Tax Audit.
From my end, I also want to say congratulations to you, and it's my pleasure having to interface with you. And all I want to say is that you have the best of time while you are still serving as housemates. My name is Brian Masamba Kemo, and I'm coming from the Customs Department as the Assistant Commissioner Anti-Smuggling. Thank you.
Good evening. I would like to add my voice to the others who have just commended you for the endurance you've exhibited so far. Congratulations. My name is Sheku Fadika. I'm the Commissioner for the Non-Tax Department in the NRA.
Okay, now before we come to you guys, I just want to emphasize the people you just heard from the different representatives, the assistant commissioners, the commissioners from the operational units within the National Revenue Authority. So you need to pack all your questions. I know you guys are smart, okay? I know you have all these questions you might want to ask. No one, I don't think there is anyone here who has never heard about the National Revenue Authority. One way or the other, you must have heard. You must have done business with the NRA. You must have had someone, a family, a relative who has done business with the NRA. So it is no doubt that you guys know a lot about the authority. So for now, I'm your presenter, just as I said earlier on, and you might have heard all these people who just, presented to you their names. So now to the housemates. We need to know all of you by name. Full name. If you have your nicknames, you can add it. No problem. So we start from this end. Do you guys have a mic?
Hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Yana Poli Fofana. I go by Yana for short. I am housemate number 50.
Hello, I am Augustine Bangura, housemate number 10.
Hello, my name is Mariana Walker, aka Madam Stainless, housemate 32.
Okay.
My name is Georgina Savage, housemate 22.
All right, next.
My name is Christiana Bendusua, Tiana for short, housemate number 12.
Okay.
My name is Afiz Odubela, Fizo Park, housemate number 3.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Moses Kolifa Kamara, commonly known as MK, housemate number 35.
Hi, I am Fatima Takama Mansai, aka Kama Kam Diva, that cute salotiti. Team is for Betsy. I am housemate number 18.
Oh yeah. All right, next.
Good evening. My name is Lawrence Sebekagbo, housemate number 29, the only police officer in the house.
Okay. Next.
My name is Abasue, normally called Pieces Maleka, aka Attention Team Attention, taking over the only pride for Sierra Leone as a whole.
Okay, next, please.
Good evening. My name is Victoria Williams, housemate 49.
Okay, next.
Hello, I'm Sarah Conte Roberts, housemate number 42.
Okay. So now, thank you, every one of you, for that brief and wonderful introduction. I guess we've known you. We can get the details of all the names right now, but I bet you we know you by faces. I can't meet you on the street and can't recognize you. That's impossible. It is impossible. So now, to start with, I might want to ask you a question, and I just need you to, to answer me in 1 or 2 words. You don't need to do more than that, okay? I know you know a lot. That is one thing I know for sure. So now, housemates, when you hear about the National Revenue Authority, and when the name clicks, what's the first thing you think about? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? All right, wait, hold on. Your hands can be up. I'll just choose. Okay? All right. Tiana.
Revenue and taxes.
All right, revenue and taxes. All right. Taxes. Okay. Do you have a mic? Okay. Who next? Who is next? Any other idea? Do you have a, okay.
It's about the nation's taxation, revenue, and the areas that has to do with security in terms of funds.
Okay.
Yeah, business, especially on the business areas.
You know, when I said earlier on that you guys are smart, I wasn't wrong at all. I wasn't. So now, all of you said the right thing. We're on the same page, okay? So now, let me just give you a brief background about the National Revenue Authority. Prior to 2002, the taxation, how they collected taxes in the country was fragmented. Taxes were being collected by several other NDAs, like the Income and the Customs and Excise Department, the Income Tax Department, and other NDAs. So now, what happened? They thought it fit and important that all these fragmented taxes should come under one umbrella. So now, the National Revenue Authority was formed and established by an Act of Parliament in 2002. And this act is called the NRA Act 2002. And since its establishment, they have played a vital role in collection, implementation, and enforcing tax laws and collection of revenues for government utilizations. Okay, so now it may surprise you, or you might begin to wonder, what do NRA do? What's their roles? What are they mandated to do? So the first thing that might actually come to your mind, just as you all said, is taxes and collection of revenue. Okay? That's what comes to your mind when you think about the NRA. But, yes, tax collection is a major role. These are the major mandate of the NRA. But also, the NRA is mandated to implement and enforce the laws relating to all these taxes. So now, we do not only collect taxes, we implement and enforce tax laws. So what does this mean? You can't just, collect revenue and do not put systems in place that will make it sustainable, okay? Because you always have people that are defaulters. You have people who will not pay taxes. So there comes the implementation stage, the enforcement stage. So if you don't pay your taxes, you get to be actually accused or fined. Okay? You are going to be fined by the authority, no doubt. And the NRA is mandated by the law to enforce these fines. So sometimes, for all of you, for some of you who have worked, I don't know your background, but I guess some of you have worked in, in administrative authorities. It is always the case that the institution is being divided into departments. So NRA is not an exception, okay? We work with different departments, and the two major departments that we have within the authority is one, the operational unit, the operational department, and the support department. I wish I could take you through all these departments, but now our major role here is to promote our reforms. And these reforms are being channeled through this operational department. And they are the representative that will take you through all these reforms. So we have the domestic tax department under the operational unit. We have the non-tax revenue department, and we have the custom services department. These departments operate within the operational unit of the National Revenue Authority. And within this operational unit, we have sub-units. All these units have different responsibilities. But guess what? They are working towards the same goal: mobilization of revenue for government spending. Okay? Tax administration everywhere is not easy. Everywhere in the world, and Sierra Leone is not an exception. You might, in the future, I don't know how many of you pay taxes. I pay tax. I am being taxed, okay. I am being taxed. I pay PAYE. I'm being taxed on my salary every other month. So we are tax educators, right? We go to the streets and get to talk to people. We have different feedbacks from people. People might have to tell, why do NRA have to collect taxes from my business? Why am I being taxed as an employee? But the fact is, if you are not taxed, how do you expect government to provide all these facilities that we enjoy as citizens? So if I am driving on good road, I enjoy electricity supply, why do I need to frown at taxation if I'm being taxed? You pay your taxes because these are the same monies that are being submitted to government to provide social amenities, social facilities. You're talking about good roads, we talk about health facilities, education, all the free education that the children are enjoying right now, the school kids, the school-going kids, those that do not have the opportunities to go to private schools. These are the sources. So the NRA is the hub of revenue for government spending. So it is also important that you know that the payment of taxes and the taxes that these taxpayers pay are very important. We don't need to get government projects stagnated because we don't want to pay tax. We pay taxes because we want to support government projects. So it is obvious that business people might want to give excuses that I don't want to pay tax. But again, how would you want to transport your goods? How would you want to deliver your goods if the roads weren't better off? So it is also important that you guys that we are educating right now, someday you go out and tell these people what actually is important about taxation and why people need to pay their taxes. So now, we are going to I am hosting these 3 departments today because of our reforms. And when we hear reforms, the first thing that comes to the mind again is that we are moving from one stage of operation to the other. So what this meant is that our reforms are purely geared towards automation. We are moving from a paper system to a paperless system. This is because we want to ease the way in which taxpayers file their returns, the way in which taxpayers relate to the National Revenue Authority, and also we want to be in line with other revenue administrations in other parts of the world. You might not want to see other countries being automated completely. And you had to stand in a long queue when you go to the National Revenue Authority to file your returns and be there for 1-2 hours. You might not want that. Okay? So it is also important that we support all these reforms that the National Revenue Authority comes with the support of the government to make, firstly, taxation easier, secondly, to increase revenue mobilization, and thirdly, to set a pace and a free level ground where the taxpayers might be so comfortable in filing their returns. You can be on your bed, you can be in your room, wheresoever you are, and you feel comfortable filing your returns. This is what we want to do. And these are the reasons for the reforms. So now, we have several reforms we're talking about tonight. So to start with, we might have to talk about the ECR, which is the Electronic Cash Register System, the Asikuda World, and the Visa on Arrival. So these are the 4 sets of reforms that we're talking about tonight. And you have your host who will take you through that. So, for the electronic cash register system, we have with us, just as you heard from him, Commissioner Tengbe, who would have to take you through the ECR. So, Commissioner. The
Thank you
first
very
thing,
much.
okay, so now I want you to take the HouseMate through the reform, the ECR, the electronic cash register system, why, everything about the ECR, and what it stands for.
Yeah, let me start by asking.
So before that, just take the HouseMate through your department, DTD, and what they do.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam. The DTD is charged with the responsibility of collecting two main revenues. One, when you earn income, somebody gives you money in salaries, the government takes a little bit of it in tax. That is what we call the PAYE. And when the government is so magnanimous again, that when you're spending that money, the government takes a little bit of it again. That is when you are spending that money. So in a sense, we have two main aspects of revenue that the government takes from the domestic tax department. We have the direct tax system and we have the indirect tax system. The direct tax system is what you earn when you work for money and they pay you, the employer takes something from it. When you take the money home and you want to buy items, you want to buy food, you want to buy clothes, you want to buy shoes, the government takes a little bit again. That is what we call indirect taxes. And the element of ECR, the electronic cash register that we're here to talk about this night, borders around the administration of the consumption tax. I am pretty much sure most of you here have bought something one way or the other in your lives. All of you here. You could have bought your shoe, you could have bought clothes, you could have bought food, you could have bought anything in the course of your life. So talking about buying something, it means you are paying what we call the goods and services tax. I'm pretty much sure all of you have heard about the goods and services tax. And when you buy anything, indirectly, you are paying the goods and services tax. Prior to the implementation of the goods and services tax, what we had was the sales tax system, wherein you will pay for those items without even you knowing. But the tax system requires you to know what you are paying. If you buy something, you should be able to know what you are paying. So as a result, the goods and services tax was introduced so that we can, when you buy something for 1,000 leones, the goods and services tax rate is 15% of that 1,000 leones. And when you buy items in any shop that is registered to charge the tax, they give you receipts. Some people give receipts and some people don't. The challenges that we have as a nation is when some people give receipts when purchases are made and some don't. The people who give receipts, in most cases, they account for the tax. Then they pay the money to the government, the people take it. People who don't give receipts, indirectly, they are taking the money from you, and at the end of the day, they don't pay the money back to the government. So what happens then is you are losing as a buyer, the government is losing as a country, and at the end of the day, it is only the businessman that benefits. So that is the background of how the ECR came in. The ECR came in as an electronic means of actually ensuring that every sales that we make, receipts are issued, and it is fairly managed in a way that anything that happens Any purchases that you make at the end of the day, it's actually recorded. The NRA sees what the business sells. You also get your receipt. You also have an obligation to take the receipt, and at the end of the day, the money goes to the government, and the government spends for the benefit of all of us. But now let me ask, what is this ECR? How many of you have made purchases from supermarkets? From supermarkets? Fine, almost all of us, right? When you go to the supermarket, you take your items, you walk to the till, you see the machines that they have, that they can punch in your product, take the receipt. That is, for short, an electronic cash register. Okay? That is for short, an electronic cash register. So what we are saying, if the supermarket can use these machines effectively, why can't we take the same machines to Sani Abacha Street? Why can't we take the same machines to Eastern Police, to Lumley, to every businesses that are required to charge GST, so that at the end of the day, we all benefit from the monies that you pay these businesses, and they don't transfer it to the government, which brings a loss to all of us. So in short, that's what we call the electronic cash register.
As you heard from, okay. Thank you so very much, Commissioner. So as you heard from the Assistant Commissioner, he just explained some of the things you might have to know in details. How many devices are there within the ECL, how it works, and the different businesses that are allocated for each of these devices. Okay, so you just, so now, we go to Commissioner NTR, non-tax revenue. So this is actually this is the third largest department within the institution, okay? And sometimes they'll just say, okay, we know they collect direct taxes. We they collect money them in form of other revenues. So they are not tax collectors, actually. These two guys seated here, you've seen, they are the ones that collect the taxes, okay? So this man right here will tell you exactly all the things you need to know about the NTR, which is the non-tax revenue department within the NRA, and the visa on arrival. Okay, so now just take the housemate through the NTR, and then we'll come to the visa on arrival.
Yeah, thank you very much, moderator. She did my job by saying that we don't collect tax per se. We collect revenue, but they are not taxes. That's why my department is called the non-tax revenue department. What we really do there, we collect revenues like license, fines, fees. These are monies that government gets when government renders services. Like, for example, if you go to OARG, that is the Registrar General's office at Roxy Building, you want to get married, government renders services for you. In return, you pay government. If you go to court and they fine you, you commit a crime or whatever, and they fine you, we go there and we collect. If you go to birth and death, we give you birth certificate, we collect. Companies like the mining companies, when they come here, they should be granted license to go into operation. So, in return, they pay monies to government. The NATCOM, that is the telecommunications, they give them license, and in return, they pay monies. So basically, on the overall, these are the monies we collect at that department. They are not taxes, as we've stated. And also, we'll talk about the visa on arrival. I don't know whether it's time now for me to talk on that. Yeah, also, we'll talk details. But visa fee that is under the immigration department, we collect the fees. But when I'm opportune to go deeper into the visa on arrival, I think that will be okay. So basically, those are the things we do at the non-tax department.
So thank you very much, Commissioner, for this submission. Now, we may have to come to the Custom Service Department after this short break. So one thing I want you to know is that you need to take note. We are here to educate you. We want you to bring forward your concerns and queries. That is why we are here. You might just be one of the sources that will relay our messages out there. So we want you to take the correct messages home. So wherever you have your doubts, take note and then ask when there is time for questions, okay? So we might come back after the break.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Abu. I am calling for your rental tax payment.
Oh my goodness.
Hello? This is the call from the...
Your colleague is on the other line. Can you just please hold?
You're not a landlord or property agent. You don't hear about rental income tax. As property owner or agent where they collect rent, the law say you for pay tax and you tax identification number where they call team you they use for pay them.
Yes, me fumble them. The law say without this tax identification number, you not go able to pay your tax. And if you not pay your tax, the law go bet you tranga one. Welcome, sir. Please sit.
Thank you.
We don't make them easy for you now. The law say, since you the collect rent, we pass 7.2 million loans, you for come to NI and pay your rental tax just after we you tenants don't pay you down.
So no more calls from everywhere.
You go just get one SMS or one phone call. We go remind you, sir.
Thank you very much.
For no more, go to any NI office near you or visit www.nia.gov.sl.
Remember, paying taxes is required by law.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Abu. I am calling for your rental tax payment.
Oh my goodness.
Hello? This is the call from the...
Your colleague is on the other line. Can you just please hold?
You're not a landlord or property agent. You don't hear about rental income tax. As property owner or agent where they collect rent, the law say you for pay tax and you tax identification number where they call team you they use for pay them.
Yes, me fumble them. The law say without this tax identification number, you not go able to pay your tax. And if you not pay your tax, the law go bet you tranga one. Welcome, sir. Please sit.
Thank you.
We don't make them easy for you now. The law say, since you the collect rent, we pass 7.2 million loans, you for come to NI and pay your rental tax just after we you tenants don't pay you down.
So no more calls from everywhere.
You go just get one SMS or one phone call. We go remind you, sir.
Thank you very much.
For no more, go to any NI office near you or visit www.nia.gov.sl.
Remember, paying taxes is required by law.
So, welcome back. So it's after the break. Now we might have to have our commissioner end the topic on, just start. We're not ending here yet. So start with the topic that you started a while ago, the visa on arrival. We'll come to you, Commissioner, don't worry.
Okay, thank you very much again. Visa on arrival simply means when you are in country, you pay your visa fee. You don't need to go through all the struggles. Let's assume somebody lives in Texas, in America, and we have, let's say, our embassy in Washington. He has to move from Texas, come to our embassy in Washington, secure visa, and go back. And when it is time for him to travel, then he has to go to the airport and travel. The cost of going from Texas to Washington to secure, government thought it that why do I have to subject my visitors or my nationals to that type of difficulties? So what we do, don't go to Washington to go obtain visa. Come straight to Sierra Leone. At the airport, you pay your visa. So the costs, the inconveniences, and all the rest, we are cut off. So you come straight to Sierra Leone. At Lunge, you pay visa. And this can open the country to visitors. Because if it is difficult for you to go obtain a visa, you might think of going to other countries, like the Gambia, for example. Instead of coming to Sierra Leone, you say, well, let's go Gambia. Because I'm not going to go get visa. Why reach Gambia and I go pay? So similarly, we thought it fit that it is more convenient for people to come right to, at the airport and they pay the visa. But also, government is in engagement with companies saying, visa on arrival, there are so many other inconveniences as well. Somebody is traveling, he comes there, stand in a queue to go pay the visa. Government said, no, it's better we go or we graduate to another level.
Okay, Commissioner, I know you want for, say a lot about the visa on arrival, and we get more time. We have the second round, which will ask you to actually tell the housemate the importance of the reform, why was it implemented, and the benefit it has, okay? So thank you so much, Commissioner the Non-Tax Revenue Department. Now, we have to come. Hey, excuse me, please. We have to come to the Customs Service Department. So the first thing that comes to your mind, or the first thing you think about, Nawataki. Anybody where you hear about Customs Service Department, Nawataki. So we do not own every part of Wataki. We are just situated in one small corner. Okay? So now you have a rep from the Customs Service Department who is the Assistant Commissioner Anti-Smuggling. He will have to take you through everything you need to know about the Customs Services Department. What they do, the taxes they collect, and he will explain to you some of their processes within this first round. So now,
thank you.
You have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. Like you said, customs is all about taxes, but it spans beyond that. It's not all about taxes and water key. It also spans to the border areas, because when you want to speak of customs strictly, we are talking of not only revenue collection, but it also involves trade facilitation, and that has to be facilitating both imports and exports. So wherever the goods are going through, wherever the goods are required to go through, whether it happens to be on the land borders or at the water key, we are facilitating those that are coming in as imports and others that are going out as exports. But strictly speaking, there are no taxes on exports. We only collect revenue on imports that are coming in. But far and beyond that, we also do some amount of environmental protection. That is, we protect the environment from harmful importation. And besides that, we also protect domestic industries. within the country, those that are actually into investments and that are into manufacturing. We ensure that we also implement trade laws or let's say taxation laws that are designed and drafted by government. So these are basically the various mandates that customs has. But over and above that, we also would like the House to understand that of the taxes that customs collect involves the import duties, which is normally a percentage of the value of the goods that are coming in. How are we normally going to go about this? Our taxes are designed based on the CET, Common External Tariff. That is to say, for the ECOWAS region, we have a Common External Tariff that allows customs to collect goods which rates are determined based on the ones that are agreed within the ECOWAS countries. So that, and for you to understand properly, any commodity that is coming outside of the ECOWAS region are taxed with certain rates of duty over and above those that are coming within from the other ECOWAS countries into Sierra Leone, for instance. It's just like we are trying to promote trade and industrialization within our ECOWAS region. So for that purpose, we ensure that higher taxes are normally placed on goods that are coming outside of ECOWAS region, and lower taxes are placed on those that are coming within the ECOWAS countries. And over and above that, there is also a trade arrangement that ensure that there is ETLS, that is a trade arrangement that ensures that all goods that are moving from within the ECOWAS countries are exempt of import duty taxes. So these are basically the kind of taxes. How do we collect? Like I said initially, it's based on an arrangement that follows after the CET, the Common External Tariff, which means that there are certain commodities that are taxed high and there are other commodities that are taxed low. For those that are coming outside of ECOWAS countries, they may be taxed, let's say, at 20%. And normally there are other arrangements that also follow, is that for those that are coming in from ECOWAS countries and are already finished products, we tax them higher. That is, say, for instance, at 20%. If these are intermediate goods, which means they are supposed to be processed further, if they land in Sierra Leone, they may attract, say, for instance, 10%. And if they are coming in as raw materials for manufacturing purposes within Sierra Leone, we may tax them at 5% duty rate. So these are normally the ways and manner in which the tax is designed by the National Revenue Authority or the ones that are agreed within the ECOWAS countries. So if, for instance, and there are different types of taxes that we are collecting on imports, the import duty, the import GST, and the import excise. So the import duty, like I said, is beginning from zero rated, which is 0%, it can be 5%, it can be 10%, it can be 20%. The GST, the import GST, is normally 15% flat on all goods. Any goods, commodities that are attracting and GST, they are normally paying 15% flat. Besides that, they are based on the kind of commodity for ECOWAS, for the excise, the import excise, that is normally designed differently. It can be 35% based on the commodity, it can be 20% based on the commodity, it can be 10% based on the commodity. So basically, these are the normal ways in which we design our tax rates. Now coming down to the Asikuda world. You know, I would just like to give a background to the housemates.
Just give a background of
regarding why the Asikuda world. Formally until 2010, we were operating a manual kind of system. Manual in the sense, when we want to capture trade data within customs, we were doing it manually. We can capture all the trade data, irrespective of the number of fields that are involved. We'll capture the trade data manually on computer. Until after 2010, we introduced what was known, and when we first got the automation process, we introduced Asikuda++. Asikuda++ is a software that enables customs to capture data directly from how the inputs are done by agents who are responsible for running the clearing process. Over and above that, this was into existence, but it has certain few lapses that made the National Revenue Authority to see that we need to go for another version that is more advanced and more sophisticated, that gives opportunity for the administration to ensure that we can interface with even other institutions, be a driver for other institutions. And that paved the way for us to introduce Asikuda World. With the Asikuda World, there are different platforms that will now give opportunity not only to capture the trade data, but we can also now interface with other people or even see how best we can integrate our systems or integrate at process level or integrate at data level. So basically, this is what we have for now in terms of our automation.
Okay, so I told you, all right? I told you we have seasoned tax experts. So I was also looking at them. I learned a lot. I learn every day. I am in the kind of department that we had to disseminate messages every day. We relay these messages to taxpayers. So basically, I listen to them. Every other time I engage them, I listen to them. I learn. I don't stop learning at all. I learn every other day. So now, we have had about 3 different reforms, right? Who can name me one? Yes, Sarah. Do you have a mic? Can someone give her a mic, please? Okay. So, 1. No, that's the department. The reforms. The reforms.
Electronic cash register.
Register system. 2. The electronic cash register system. 2.
The NTR.
Asikuda. The Asikuda.
The Asikuda World.
NTR.
No, that's a department. So 3.
The DTE.
No.
The visa
On arrival. So now we have spoken about the 3 departmental representatives have spoken about 3 different reforms, okay? So these things that you were calling the domestic tax department, the NTR, the customs, these are departments. So now, why did I decide that they had to give the background of their departments and then followed by the reforms? This is because these departments, you see, each one of these departments that actually said something about a reform, they actually administer under. This reform is operating within the department. So now, the DTD have the ECR. The NTR has the visa on arrival. The Customs Service Department has the Asikuda World. So note that, okay? So now, Commissioner, in your presentation, you gave a brief background about the electronic cash register system. So why did the institution, together with the support of the government, decided to bring about the ECR into our tax administration system?
You know, whenever the government decides to bring tax reforms, it's to make things easier for you, the business people, those who do business, to make it easier for you, the customers, those of us who buy, and to make it easier for also us, the NRA, to be able to collect the correct taxes so that we not go lie per business. We not go lost as a nation. Once we bring these reforms, the essence is to make it convenient for everybody that are involved in the payment and collection of taxes. So the ECR is introduced because when we do it manually, we go to buy items, we go to buy shoes, we go to buy clothes in any of the shops around. And The businesses that will be required to charge GST, they are the businesses that will be targeted to be administering the ECR, to be using the ECR to do their business. Now, when you go and buy items, or you go and buy shoes or clothes, as I've mentioned, it takes time for the businessman to write receipts, enter the name and everything. With an ECR, it's simple. Just a mere touch of the product to the goods. It records everything. Bam, the receipt comes out. And it's given to you. Nobody wastes time. And at the end of the day, there is an interface between the business and the NRA. You self don't buy, you the customer. You are assured, because once the man don't cut receipt, they don't give you, automatically it registers to the NRA. We know that business A has actually made a sale of an item of this sort to a customer. So we set a record up. For the businessman, at the end of the day, the reconciliation between the NRA and the business people is also made easier. So that the amount that you say you sell at the end of the month, we already go down see them. We already go down see them. It will already go down record into our system. So once it's recorded in our system, you know we can't say you sell 500,000, then you come and say, no, I sold 400,000. And again, even if by mistake you record 600,000, we'll go draw your attention to say, yes, you've recorded 600,000, but the records that we have is actually showing a lesser amount. So we draw your attention. Reconciliation between the business and the NRA is made much easier. And waiting for count to government, it comes to government. The interface between the NRA staff and the business people is also minimized, because waiting people go to check for, waiting we be the go check for, we now see electronically where they make we able for record, where they make we able for compare the sales as against the declarations at the end of the month.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Now, the Asikuda world. Why was it brought into our tax system?
In the first place, I would like us to understand that Asikuda world, as opposed to the former system that we had, Asikuda Plus, Asikuda world is web-based. So which means you go left wherever you are in the entire world and key in a declaration and have access into our system. This is a platform where you can access through the web. So it has much more advantage than the Asikuda Plus we've been in operation before. So you no need for bother yourself. And that's even why today you have agents that are operating remotely from their offices without actually having to access customs premises. And there were so many things that we needed to bring on board. We needed to improve on our efficiency. We needed to improve the reliability of the system. We needed to ensure, there is proper accountability and effective capture of the trade data that is required not only by customs, but also by other players. Formally, it will interest you to understand that if, for instance, the Bank of Sierra Leone will require data, or let's say even at our head office, the monitoring and research and planning unit require data, unless those who have the technical expertise, these are the only class of people that can easily generate data. But the kind of system that we now have gives opportunity to anybody. Once you are profiled and given that kind of profile, you can access our data and extract the exact data that you want. It's at your own convenience. So it makes the system looks very simple, and it makes it obvious that no matter what you want, you will always have. So I believe that Asikuda world is exclusively to improve our efficiency, to ensure that accountability and transparency is well improved, and over and above it all, that at anybody, no matter where you're operating from. Because it is web-based, you can be anywhere and access our systems.
Okay, Commissioner, why the visa on arrival?
It's all about convenience. As the previous speakers highlighted, government wants to make life easy for people in the tax administration. The visa on arrival came about in order to curtail the inconveniences and the costs involved in obtaining visa from our embassies around the world. There were classifications of group of people as to how much to pay. When you are from ECOWAS, it is free. When you are from Africa, but out of the ECOWAS zone, it's $25. Others, $80. America, Europe, and the rest of mankind. But again, governments saw it that there are more inconveniences to this one also. So as I said earlier on, we are in engagement with companies in order to make it e-visa, electronic visa. What are we looking at? You can be in your room, you apply for your visa, you get your visa. You can be anywhere in the world. As my brother said, the Asukuda world is web-based. The e-visa also is web-based. So basically, governments, they want to bring convenience to the people then when they come at this country. So that you can then decide you just put the information, you get your visa. You only need a code to come to Sierra Leone. That's it. The money you pay is directed to government's account straight. As he said also, for accountability, for efficiency.
Yeah.
So basically, the graduation from manual, if you like, to visa on arrival, and now to e-visa, this all yielding for convenience.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
as I told you earlier on, thank you so much, Commissioner NTI, for that presentation. As I told you earlier on, we were talking about reforms, and the NRA decided to initiate some of these reforms to do a few things. One, make tax filing easier, make tax administration efficient, and three, to mobilize more revenue for government spending. So now we might have to go for a break, and when we come back, we'll have to do the last set of presentation, and you will ask your questions.
There's a lot of activities going on in the NRA, and when it comes to reforms, we are very passionate about the reforms that we have embarked on to make your life easier as a taxpayer. We rolled out Asukuda World in January. It's a web-based system which you can access wherever you are in the world. And it is paperless, it is automated, and based on the feedback that we have received so far, it is really making things easier for both our importers and our exporters. As long as we have your correct telephone numbers, once you start your process of clearing your goods, we can keep you up to date throughout the processes through SMS. We have televisions or CCTVs that actually shows you and keeps track of the goods as they go through the clearing process. We are aware of the challenges that our importers and exporters face when they visit these banks. So what we did was we brought in about 6 to 7 banks, in-house, whereby while you're at the customs, doing the different transactions, you can also do your banking. And then we pay special attention to you when you're at our banking facilities. We want to reduce delay, and not only delay, but we also want to reduce cost. So with the Saturday operations, you can come to the key on Saturdays, and then the hours run from 9 to 4, except on cleaning Saturdays. You can come, and then you'll be able to do exactly what you do during the day, Monday through Friday.
Okay, welcome back. So the last set of questions, and we have almost come to the end of our presentation. Not too soon. Okay, so now I might want to tell you, if you have taken note before, you might want to put them together and ask the questions after the last set of questions for the commissioners. So you might want to put your questions together to ask, because we really, really want you to ask questions. We want you to ask questions because we want you to learn. You might not have the same opportunity again. Next we come, it's tax. We give you tax. Now is presentation. This is the time you have all the opportunities to ask your different questions. So you might want to put all your questions together, those that you want to ask. Okay? So now, there is no time. We don't have time in our favor. So we have to go with the last set of questions. The Commissioner now, we'll start with you again. For the ECI, we want to know, lastly, what's the benefit of the ECI to both the taxpayers and the institution?
Like I say, the ECR, the electronic machines, what would they give to taxpayers then? For me to administer whether they sell. The one benefit to this business is whether they register for GST or whether they administer the ECR. In the first place, not to all businesses, they use the electronic machines. Not to the all with the key. But it must be registered or registrable for GST to charge GST and it will go give you. The benefit for this use of this ECR is for the businessman. You're able to know waiting the stock, waiting then your business, waiting then your goods, now your store at any given point in time. Then you're also able to supervise your business even when you're not then at the shop. Plenty time when you want sell, you want for day all time because the shop boy day before you want day behind day for the watch waiting they happen. But with the use of the ECR, once you don't put all your goods inside the machine, it don't record. If you come with 10 shoes, 10 pairs of shoes, it don't record. You don't need for Sidonde because you just said it takes stock of waiting exactly they happen. Plenty time would they also penalize businesses then whether not issue the correct GST receipt. With the use of the ECR, then they all go down because the receipt where you get for issue to the people that when they go buy in a shop, they always certified by the NRA. Okay, so that are the one advantage to the business, and the few advantage to the business. The advantage to the NRA, it makes our work easier, it makes our work smoother, and it makes the collection of revenue even easier. The reconciliation between we and the business people is also much smoother. We're not able to get much argument because you know exactly how much you sell and we get records of what you sell. And when you carry the goods, you put on the system, we know what you get. At the end of the day, reconciliation is much easier with the NRA. In a nutshell of a brand for Crown Everything, bringing reforms of any nature that for make we be able to ensure say a lot of people come into the tax net, and at the end of the day, if everybody at the country pays small, we put them together, it will be a big amount of collection rather than very few people, and then no more go they pay the bulk of amount of waiting the government they use for service we all.
Okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Now we come to the Custom Commissioner, Customs man,
Yes.
Assistant Commissioner. Please, what's the benefit of the ASICUD award to both the National Revenue Authority and the taxpayers?
The benefits, there are many. And
Few.
Few.
Yeah, important
yes.
ones.
Obviously, that's what I wanted to say. And a few I go mention. To the taxpayer, they make accountability very effective for them and also supervision. For instance, we get an electronic messaging system. Today, gone are the days where somebody will pay their taxes and they are not even certain as to what they pay to the NRA. But through an electronic messaging system, no matter where you are, even if an agent is working on your behalf, once data is inputted, your tax estimations are done, you receive a message straight in your phone. Because once you're able to provide your telephone details, you receive a message, text message, where they tell you, say, this and this and this, now your tax liability. If it is 10 million, you know it's not 10 million. If not 20 million, you know it's not 20 million. So that's one effective way. You know, say, you go hold people accountable. If it tells you I spent 20 million, whereas you don't get a text message where they suggest, say, it is 15 million, you go able to hold them accountable. Aside that, we know, say, it reduces the cost because you cannot be within your office and complete a declaration, whereas formally, except you have to move all over the place for make you ensure, so you seek for one trader input, also you go input your data before ever you go able to capture statistics, we go give you an information on your tax assessment. So all that kind of thing they are not able, it able help you in a great deal for make you ensure so you cut down on your cost, you're able to do supervision, you're able to do accountability, and you can easily predict the system. That is for the taxpayers. For us as an entity, we believe say it improve with professionalism. The way and manner after which we used to do this business, more manual, or at least partially manual and partially electronic. Today, we are now talking about a paperless environment that makes us to become more efficient and effective in the business what they do. Over and above that, it reduces the level of human interface. We are working in an environment where every day people may want to suspect us. We also want to maintain distance with people. That is even part of the reason why we are saying, as an entity, we want to ensure if you capture your data, you also receive information immediately regarding your tax liability.
Exactly.
So once you receive that information, we are limited in terms of answering questions now. Sure. You can now answer your own questions in terms of what I'm supposed to give the NRA. So we believe, say, professionalism is one, predictability also for us, and government also can be satisfied that whatever the people are paying, we are certain that we are receiving it because the whole system is now automated. There is no more room for the NRA officer or the custom officer for me will start interfacing with the people that are out there. So professionalism is enhanced.
Okay,
We believe, say, those are few of the issues that would stand for benefit.
So, Commissioner Barika, so let's hear from you. What is the benefit of the visa on arrival to both the taxpayers and the government and the institution?
The benefit is very, very obvious. Would I go on for punish? Would I want suffer? Would I want spend unnecessarily? Nobody. Government pull suffer by you. Not go they travel now from one state to another or go take visa. Can I? You don't go like that. That money we go take for pay transport, flight or train or whatever. Government is not pay. Can I? Can't pay na. You don't cut that expenditure by you. And where you go there, they pay visa fee back home. But now visa fee no more they can't pay. So the benefit to the nation, that mandate, that visa fee or the transport the way for don't spend, yanda, where it come with that money now, they can't spend inside the economy. It go lodge in a hotel. It must eat. It must waka waka. So then spending the way they make, they create market for local them. So on the overall, I think say na good talk. So the benefit is everybody go benefit. Now win-win situation.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay. So, hearing from my, guest, I learned few words: efficiency, effectiveness, and automation. These are the three words, key words that I learned. And when there is efficiency, effectiveness, and automation, we are moving. So we have moved. We want to move from the paper system, from a non-automated system to an automated system. These are the reforms for you. We have presented all the important things you need to learn about these reforms. So now, the floor is yours. Ask your questions, and you'll get answers to your questions. So we start. Yana. So, hold on. Commissioners, take note. These questions are coming right for you. So you have to take note.
I actually have one for each of them. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for taking the opportunity to educate us. Me personally, a lot of the information that you were telling me was new. I live out of the country and in hopes to move back. So starting a business is definitely important for us to know the ins and outs of this. So I can apologize. I know I'm butchering my last name, so can I have your permission to ask you guys by your first names? Okay. So first, Mr. Brima, are your taxes affected by external shocks? By external shocks, like we had the COVID situation going on. So I did economics, and it really intrigues me. So in terms of like imports and exports of goods, are your taxes affected by those external shocks? Like, do you import, like say if you have less imports, do you lower your taxes? If you have more exports, do you increase your taxes? How has the COVID affected your taxes on the imports and exports?
Customs, right? Okay. So the next question.
My second question goes to Mr. James. How do you determine the tax return, and how much will people receive? Like, so for us in the States, like when they do taxes, we have the option to decide the amounts of taxes that we want to be removed from our income. So we go by numbers 0, 1, and 2. I wanted to know how you guys, if employees are allowed to decide how much taxes they want the employers to take from that, and if it doesn't meet the level in which the government agrees, how will they be able to pay that difference for them?
Question.
My last question goes to Mr. Sheku. How long does the visa on arrival last, and does it differentiate in duration for ECOWAS, non-ECOWAS people? Because when we do visa over there, not on arrival, it lasts us 3 years. So I'm just wondering what's the duration of the visa on arrival here? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yana, for your questions. Next.
Yeah. I want to ask for the business people, if actually they fail to pay their revenue, what are the consequences towards them?
Once more?
The consequences to not pay if they fail to pay the revenue. That's what I mean. And for the visa, if you have bought your visa and your visa gets missing, so how are you intend to get it again? Are we going to pay again? Yes, that's
All
my
right,
last question.
thank you so much. Next, what's your name again? Sorry, Moses.
Yeah.
Okay, Moses, you can go first.
Thank you so much for your time and patience, more especially on a national duty. I just want to ask this, like, let's say I'm doing a business of a shop, right? Will it be will it be taxed based on the items at the shop or a general taxing pricing policy?
Um, Kama.
Um, I want to ask Mr. Fadika if the visa on arrival is also applicable on the roads, like coming from Liberia to Sierra Leone, Guinea, if it's they charge like visa on arrival on the road.
Any more? We need one question more.
Okay, Lawrence. First off, I want to commend you guys. You guys are doing a great job for this nation. And I pray God continue to protect and guide you always. First off, I want to know if these reforms is finished and you have already implemented all those things that you have told us just now. And prior to now, yeah, I know it's one, no. Okay. Because of time now, I want to know prior to now, when you guys were using the receipts in those shops,
Okay.
I want to say, yeah, we are no much education to the public. Because even me, I never knew that when you go to the shop, they will give you NRA receipt. Until one time when I get to the shop and the man I met at the shop gave me a receipt with NRA logo at the top. I say, wow, this is great. And each time I go to the shop, I must make sure that I collect my NRA receipt from them. If you don't give me NRA receipt, I will say, okay, no, I will not buy from you. I'll go to another shop.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about. You're doing a great job, and thank you for that. Before your questions get answered, I want to applaud you for that. Thank you so much. So now, the last question I will have to take from Tiana. Last question. I guess her hands were up. Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to ask in relation to what Lawrence asked. As you guys said, the electronic cash register system, aside from the hotels, supermarkets, and all big business places,
Okay.
I want to know if it's also inclusive of the Abacha Street, Ecowa Street, and
Okay.
all these other places. And also the DTE. You guys said it's charged with the responsibility of collection of 2 million, if I heard you right. Is it limited or is there a possibility for the price to change?
Okay. So now, commissioners, you need to answer these questions really short and straight. Straight to the point. Let them get the answer straight. Okay? So we start from answer all the questions you gathered. Okay? And then we'll move to the next in you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me start with the determination of the tax rate that you asked. The use of the ECR is just a tool, it's a fiscal device that helps you to administer the goods and services tax. And the rate for the goods and services tax is actually 15%. And there are goods that will be required that are chargeable for of GST, and there are those that are exempt. The ones that are exempt, we don't have time now really to go through it, but the major one actually is food. The food, the rice and the raw state. When you buy rice and you roast it, there is no GST. But if you buy rice from a restaurant, then there is GST on that. Okay? Then how much taxes are removed from the income that we get? Now the income tax rates are fixed. You know, one of the requirements of actually charging the tax, of actually collecting tax, is the payer must know how much they pay. Okay? The payer must know. So it is actually fixed. We know the rates, except if it is reviewed at the end of the year by the parliament. Then we can also go and review them accordingly. Okay, so the rates are fixed. For the PAYE, if you are earning 1 million euros, you know how much you are paying for tax, and the rates are applied accordingly. Like for PAYE, it's 15% at 600, which 600 is free, and another 600 is 15%. If you add over and above 2 million, then it's actually
We'll
then you
give them
pay,
that
or we'll
responsibility
give that.
to search properly.
Yeah.
They will. They have.
And if a business fails to pay the tax, what can we do? Now we are implementers of the law. The law, in the first place, the payment of a tax is a given right. You should pay it. Everybody should pay taxes. So if you say you are not paying the tax, obviously there are measures where we will use for force you for pay the tax.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
One, we go talk to you. Two, if we talk to you in our work, we go distress you. If we distress you in our work, we can even take you to jail. You can be locked up for not paying taxes. So it's no excuse to say you won't pay tax. Everybody is charged. Okay?
All right. So, Commissioner, they would have to send us some of their questions. We'll attend to them later. Okay, you have to go through your questions from customs and just answer them briefly.
Yes, I think the one that actually concerns customs is about the external shocks. If there were external shocks, or whether the external shock really affected customs revenue, yes. It affected customs revenue. And for that matter, the way and manner after which it actually impact we in terms of trade volumes. But at that initial stage, now I really even tell, because immediate actions we are not taking, because the COVID just surfaced like that.
Sure.
At that initial stage, there were really shocks. We undermine the volumes the way they come within, because restrictions were placed on the flows them way they come in. And then, but for make we ensure say we tackle that, I think say when exchange rates not been there at all, government come in immediately, quickly get meetings with importers and as well all other trade players, those who are into that very basket day. We had to sit together for ensure that we plan waiting to make for make government not really feel that kind of impact. Okay. And at that level, waiting happen. Facilities were offered for make people then bring initially goods into the country for 3 months period without actually having to pay. They were like deferring payments to a future date, just for ensure the government able to tackle, particularly for food items and stuff like that. Okay. So that was exactly the initial stages. At that initial stage, that was what government had to do. Okay. And when that happened, we quickly able to recover in terms of bringing in volumes, because everybody was encouraged at that initial stage how exchange rate been the impact them. Bank of Sierra Leone decides to come in and ensure they do A, B, C, D. Many more other things than the way government really do. Sure. But with time not in now, so we just want to stop here.
Thank you so much.
God bless.
Briefly.
I'm afraid we are behind time.
Exactly.
Now I go. The first question is talking about the duration of the visa. The duration of the visa, we have a single entry, multiple, and all the rest of it. It depends on the type of visa you obtain. There are options. Yeah? So then that is one. When you lost your visa, you don't lose it. It is stick in your passport, except you lose your passport. Yeah?
Okay.
So that is it. And the last one, coming from land, sea, wherever, you have to pay. As long as you are not entitled to come here without visa, you pay.
Okay,
Thank
all
you.
right. So now we are going to give you the responsibility to do further research. You have to visit our page at www.gov.nri.sl, and then you visit our Facebook page. And there are gifts here for you. Don't forget, there are gifts here for you. Each one of you is entitled to a bag. So in these gifts, there is a tax guide. So those tax guides you have to read. Everything you need to know about the authority, you find in there.
in a very simple form. It is simplified for people who are not tax experts. If you don't want to do taxation, if you don't have interest, even if you don't have interest in taxation, you can find comfort in reading those tax guides. They are so simplified. I read them like every day. It is my Bible, sort of. Okay? So now, we have already come to the end of this today's event, the presentation. So on behalf of the board chairperson, Mrs. Tumak Adama Gento Kamara, the Commissioner General of the National Revenue Authority, Dr. Samuel S. Chibao, the senior management team, and the rest of the entire staff of the National Revenue Authority, especially the Legal and Corporate Affairs Department. They made this possible. If we had to meet you today, these people I mentioned here made it possible, and we don't regret any bit of it. We are educating our taxpayers through you guys. So we appreciate the journey, the decision we took. And this journey today is one of the best. So once more, I say thank you for your contributions, thank you for your time, and thank you for your patience. I wish you all good luck.
Domestic revenue mobilization is a key instrument for the government of Sierra Leone in reducing poverty, increasing financial independence, achieving middle income status, and charting the path for new directions. From supporting the free quality education, good roads, healthcare, electricity, and more.
Domestic revenue mobilization is very critical when it comes to national development.
Through the Asikoda World, we have developed beautiful management tools. We have also developed systems in which it will bring transparency and help to the importer, to the broker.
iTax is a platform for all your domestic taxes. The electronic cash register system is the game changer.
Let's support government by paying our taxes. For more information, visit the nearest NRA office or log on to our website www.nra.gov.sl.